everybody the same. That's the old. I'm gonna begin at 7. I'm gonna turn this up because this is a little bit too dark. Yeah. Why is this parted? $57. I'm just gonna read. Where is Daniel? I know it's in between here. Jeremiah. It's after the prophets. $58. The gate of Joseph, the gate of Benjamin, the gate of Dan, on the south side. It used to be west side, which is to be the last of our home. Cubits, 3 gates, the gate of Gad, the gate of Asher, the gate of Naphtali. The circumference of the city will be 18,000 cubits, in the name of the city. From that time on shall be the Lord is there. 1 more minute. It's 7. Okay. I'm just going to read and take notes, I guess. If nobody don't join, I don't care. But I'm doing this because I want to. All right. I'm going to read Daniel chapter 1 through 3. And if you hop in while I'm reading, you can take notes and everything, or you can write down what's important. I answer questions too if you need them. I'm just gonna get started, or should I wait? I'm gonna wait to 7:03. So Okay, I'm just going to start. We're going to read Daniel chapter 1 through 3. In the year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, unto his hand, with some of the vessels of the house of God, and he brought them to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God, and placed the vessels in the treasury of his God. Then the king commanded Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to bring some of the people of Israel, both of the royal family and of the nobilities, youths without blemish, of good appearance, and skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, and learning, and competent to stand in the king's palace, and to teach them the literature and knowledge of the Chaldeans. The king assigned them a daily portion of the food that the king ate, and of the wine that he drank. They were to be educated for 3 years, and at the end of that time they were to stand before the king. Among these there Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah of the tribe of Judah, and the chief of the eunuchs gave them names. Daniel he be called Belteshazzar, Hananiah called Shadrach, Mishael called Meshach, and Azariah he called Abednego. But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. Therefore he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to defile himself. And God gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the chief and the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who assigned your food and your drink. For why should he see that you were in worse condition than the youths who are of your own age, so you would endanger my head with the king? Then Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of the eunuchs had assigned over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance and the appearance of the youths who eat the king's food be observed by you. And the deal with your servants according to what you see. So he listened to them in this matter, and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, it was seen that they were better in appearance and fatter in flesh than all the youths who ate the king's food. So the steward took away their food and the wine they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. As for these 4 youths, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. And at the end of the time, when the king had commanded that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king spoke with them, and among all of them none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, I don't know how to say their name, and Azariah. Therefore they stood before the king, and in every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king acquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters that were in and there were in all his kingdom. And Daniel was there until the first year of King Cyrus. This is chapter 2. In the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams. His spirit was troubled, and his sleep left him. Then the king commanded that the magicians and enchanters, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans be summoned to all the king in his dreams. So, that's kind of... Then the king commanded that the magicians and enchanters and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans. That's where he called Abraham from. You're the Chaldeans. Chaldees. I don't know how to say that. He summoned to the king his dreams. So they came in and stood before the king. And the king said to them, I had a dream, and my spirit is troubled to know the dream. Then the Chaldeans said to the king in Aramaic, O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the word from me is firm. If you do not make known to me the dream and its interpretation, you shall be torn limb from limb, and your house shall be laid in ruins. But if you show the dream and its interpretation, you shall receive from me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore, show me the dream and its interpretation. They answered a second time and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show its interpretation. The king answered and said, I know with certainty that you are trying to gain time, because you see that the word from me is firm. If you do not make the dream known to me, there is but one sentence for you. You have agreed to speak lying and incorrupt words. And lying and corrupt words before me till the time change. Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show me its interpretation. The Chaldeans answered the king and said, there is not a man on earth who can meet the king's demand, for no great and powerful king has asked such a thing of any magicians and enchanters of Chaldeans. The thing that the king asks is difficult, and no one can show it to the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. So, basically, I'm going to go back and try to talk to y'all over about it for the people who will see it after, probably. Basically, Israel was some people was taken captive from Jerusalem, and they was taken by Nebuchadnezzar, and they was taken over to Babylon with King Nebuchadnezzar, because he's besieged it by war. And he took them, and they had to sit in his royal court and learn wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and literature and knowledge and wisdom. And he took, I'm gonna just say Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm not gonna say their names because I don't know their names. I don't know how to say their names like that, because there's some difficult names. But he took them, and they learned literature, knowledge, and wisdom, understanding, and all that for 3 years. He chose them to learn it for 3 years because it was in a royal court. That's how long it took to know knowledge. So when they learned the knowledge, he was asking them, he had a dream. The dream consisted of a dream of his own statue. Well, we're going to get to that part. I'm just going back over. I'm on Daniel 2 and Daniel chapter 2 verse 10. All right, yeah. The Chaldeans answered the king and said, there is no man on earth who can meet the king's demand. For no great, this is English Standard Version. There is no man on earth who can meet the king's demand. For no great and powerful king has asked such a thing of any magician and enchanter or Chaldeans. The thing that the king asks is difficult, and no one can show it to the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. Because of this, the king was angry and very furious, and commanded that all the wise men of Babylon be destroyed. So the decree went out, and the wise men were about to be killed, and they sought Daniel and his companions to kill them. Then Daniel replied with prudence and discretion to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, who had gone out to kill the wise men of Babylon. He declared to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree of the king so urgent? Then Arioch made the matter known to Daniel. Daniel went in. Oh, excuse me. Daniel went in and requested the king to appoint him a time, and he might show the interpretation to the king. God reveals Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Then Daniel went to his house and made the matter known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, and told them to seek mercy from the God of heaven concerning his mystery, so that Daniel and his companions might not be destroyed with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision of the night. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, to whom belong wisdom and might. He changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwells within him. To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what he asked of you. For you have made known to us the king's matter. Excuse me. Therefore Daniel went in to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus to him, do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Bring in before the king, and I will show the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste and said thus to them. Okay, I'm going to pause right here because I want to tell y'all what's happening. The king asked for, he had a dream. And he wanted someone to tell in his court, his royal court. Remember I told you Daniel and them stayed in there for 3 years and learned wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And it was one more. I forgot what that was. But 3 years, Hananiah, Daniel, Mishael, Azariah, all of them learned for 3 years about those things. After they got through, they was in his royal court. Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. In the dream, he was asking, he was asking them to tell him the dream. That night he fell asleep, or he was gonna kill everybody that was in the court. Nobody could answer it, so Daniel went back and asked the guard, give me a day so I can know. He asked God, went back and asked God, okay, what's his dream? God showed him the dream he had. It was about the statue, but we're going to get into that. After Daniel when he saw the dream, he went back to the court and told Nebuchadnezzar about the dream. So we on Daniel chapter 2 and 25. Oh, no, 24, I'm sorry. Daniel chapter 2 and 24, and it's in English Standard Version. Therefore Daniel went into Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus to them, do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show the king the interpretation. The interpretation, he was trying to show him the interpretation, not the dream that he had, but it's the same thing. So then Arioch brought in Daniel. Hi, my boo-boo. Hi, Keontae. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste and said thus to them, I have found, you making me shy. I have found among the exiles from Judah a man who will make known to the king the interpretation. The king declared to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar. Are you able to make known to me the dream that I have seen and its interpretation? Daniel answered the king and said, no wise men, enchanters, magicians, astrologers can show to the king the mystery that the king has asked. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries, and he has made known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. The dream and the vision of your head. Hold on. The dream. I done lost my place. Okay. In the latter days, visions of your head as you lay in your bed are these. To you, O king, as you lay in bed came thoughts of what would be after this. And he who reveals mysteries made known to you what is to be. But as for me, this mystery has been revealed to me, not because of any wisdom that I have more than all the living, but in order that the interpretation may be made known to the king, and that you may know the thoughts of your mind. Okay, this is the interpretation of the dream that he had. You saw, O king, and behold, a great image. The image, mighty and of exceeding brightness, stood before you, and its appearance was frightening. The head of his image was of fine gold, its chest and arms in silver, its middle and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. As you looked, a stone was cut out by no human hands, and it struck the image of its feet. That makes sense. He dwells in people not made of human hands. As you looked, a stone was cut out by no human hands, and it struck the image of his feet of iron and clay, and broke them in pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, the gold, all together were broken in pieces, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, so that not a trace of them could be found. But the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Hold on, some more. This was the dream. Now we will tell the king its interpretation. Okay, that was the dream. This is the interpretation. I keep forgetting it. The dream, the interpretation first. The dream first, and then the interpretation of what it actually means. You, O king, the king of kings, to whom the God of heaven has given. You, O King, the King of kings, to whom the God of heaven has given the kingdom, the power, and the might, and the glory, and into whose hand he has given wherever they dwell, the children of man, the beasts of the field, the birds of the heavens, making you rule over them all. You are the head of gold. So the top of the head, if we go back, that's what the first thing that he seen in Daniel chapter 2 and 32. The head of his image was fine gold. That was Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go back. And unto whose hand he has given wherever they dwell, and the children of men, the beasts of the field, he gave him first. The head is first. Another kingdom inferior to you shall rise after you, yet a third kingdom of bronze. The bronze, I think, was the it said the middle thighs of bronze. And there shall be fourth kingdom, strong as iron, because iron breaks to pieces and shatters all things, and like iron that crushes, it shall break and crush all people. And as you saw the feet and toes partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, it shall be a divided kingdom. But some of the firmness of iron shall be in it, just as you saw iron mixed with the soft clay, and as the toes of the feet were partly iron and partly clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly brittle. As you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in marriage. I should have wrote this down. I should have wrote this down so I can tell y'all how, with the dream in versus their interpretation. But okay, as you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, they will mix with one another in marriage, and they shall not hold together, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of those kings, the King of heaven, the God of heaven, will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, which is Jesus' kingdom. It's God's kingdom. The stone that came out the mountain is Jesus. If you think of it, it shall break. Hold on. Okay, in all the days of those. Okay, I'm on Daniel chapter 2 verse 44. Yeah, and in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall the kingdom be left to another people. It shall break in pieces all these kingdoms and bring them to an end, and it shall stand forever. Yeah, that's God's kingdom. The stone that came out and it was not cut by human hands, that's God's kingdom. Just as you saw that a stone was cut from a mountain by no human hand, and that it broke in pieces the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, the gold. A great God has made known to the king what shall be after this. The dream is certain and its interpretation sure. After Daniel was told him the dream, he promoted him. So, on the first beginning part of we was reading over here in Daniel chapter 1, he told them if somebody could tell him of the dream, he will promote them. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face, paid homage to Daniel, and commanded that an offering of incense be offered up to him. You're not supposed to worship a human. The king answered and said to Daniel, truly your God is God of gods and Lord of kings and a revealer of mysteries. For you have been able to reveal this mystery Then the king gave Daniel high honors and many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief perfect over all the wise men of Babylon. Daniel made a request of the king, and he appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel remained at the king's court. Okay, take a pause right quick. Remember, we was reading in Daniel chapter 2 about the dream. And the dream was a statue. He said you will see what is coming in the latter days. Now we're about to see that actual statue come together. We're about to see that actual statue come together with everything, like the bronze, the clay, the iron, all of it. It's actually going to come together, but it's going to be a real tall statue. That's an idol. This is a commandment that we're not supposed to have idols before God. He about to make one. Nebuchadnezzar about to make one. But it's all about to play out. This is Daniel chapter 3. This is the last one. All right. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, whose height was about 6 cubits, and its breadth 6 cubits. He set up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then King Nebuchadnezzar sent together the straps, the prefects, the governors. Hold on, the satraps. Oh, the satraps. The prefects, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the province to come to the dedication of the image. The image. An image is an idol. Okay, that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then the satraps, the prefects, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the province gathered for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And the herald proclaimed aloud, "You are commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that when you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the trigon, the harp, the bagpipe, and every kind of music, you are to fall down and worship the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into a burning fiery furnace." Therefore, as soon as all the people heard the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, the bagpipes, and every kind of music, all the people's nations and languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Y'all, they about to be tested. Therefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans, I don't know how to say that word, came forth and maliciously accused the Jews. They declared to King Nebuchadnezzar, "O king, live forever. You, O king, have made a decree that every man who hears the sound of the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the trigon, the harp, the bagpipe, and every kind of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom you have appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, pay no attention to you. They do not serve your gods, or worship the golden image that you have set up." Remember, this is a commandment that was in Exodus, that we are not supposed, as one of the 10 commandments, that we are not supposed to worship we're not supposed to have put images before God, or idols. So then Nebuchadnezzar, in furious rage, commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There's a word here that We aren't even we're supposed to be like faithful even until, you know, like testing, or even until like hard times. Even though they didn't bow down and they didn't worship the image, they still was faithful even to God. That they didn't bow down and worship an image. They didn't give in. I'm going to talk about it after. Okay, this is Daniel chapter 3, verse 14, and it's in English Standard Version. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said to them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve any gods or worship the golden image that I have set up? Now, if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the trigon, the harp, the bagpipe, and every kind of music, to fall down and worship the image that I have made, well and good. But if you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into the fire. This is just like see, they was immediately tested, but there's a word of being like faithful even in hard times, faithful even in even though they was about to get thrown in the fire, which they did. They still was faithful even until the end. I think this whole like thing shows like being faithful. Even when Daniel got thrown into like the lion's den, they had like this decree. We gonna get to that too, because you're gonna read the whole book of Daniel. They had like this whole decree that they was not supposed to pray to any gods or anything other than to the king. And Daniel, and if they caught anybody praying into like any gods, my eye is itching, they will be killed or thrown into the lion's den. But Daniel, when it still went and prayed but he got caught and they threw him into the lion's den. It's just like being faithful. There's a word here. It's a strong word here, like being faithful until the end. Being faithful even though things are hard. Being faithful even until like things are like you being thrown into a fiery furnace and they turned the heat up, because I'm finna read it. They turned it all the way up, but it's like being faithful until even when you know what's gonna happen to you. But hey, let me keep going for y'all can see. Okay, Daniel chapter 3, again, verse 15. I'm gonna start at 15. Now, if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the trigon, the harp, the bagpipe, and every kind of music, to fall down and worship the image that I have made, well and good. But if you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into a burning, fiery furnace. And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands? See, you got too much pride now. You got too much pride saying that. But the thing is, he already knew about Daniel's God, but he didn't know that Daniel and Mishael and Ananiah and Azariah had the same God. So he was saying, and who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands? He didn't know that they had the same God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver you from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hands, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury, and the expression on his face was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He ordered the furnace heated up 7 times more than it's usually heated. It's usually heated. And he ordered some of the mighty men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their cloaks, their tunics, their hats, and their other garments, and they were thrown into the burning fiery furnace, because the king's order was urgent, and the furnace was overheated. The flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell bound into the burning fiery furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished and rose up in haste. He declared to the counselors, "Did we not cast 3 men bound in the fire?" They answered and said to the king, "True, O king." He answered and said, "But I see 4 men unbound walking in the midst of the fire, and they are," I'm about to cry. That's Jesus. He answered and said, "But I see 4 men unbound walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods." Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the door of the burning fiery furnace. He declared, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here." Hey! Wow. Okay. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the door of the burning fiery furnace. He declared, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here." Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out from the fire. God. Come out and come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out from the fire, and the satraps and the prefects and the governors and the king's counselors gathered together and saw that the fire had not had any power over the bodies of those men. The hair on their head had not been singed, and their cloaks were not harmed. No smell of fire had come upon them. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants, who trusted in him and set aside the king's command and yielded up their bodies rather than serve and worship any god except their own God. Therefore, I make a decree. Any people, nations of language that speaks anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn limb from limb, and their houses laid in ruins. For there is no other God who is able to rescue in in this way." Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. That was good. That was good. He didn't know that they had like the same, that they had the same God. And then the fourth thing, that when they got thrown in the fire, the 4th one in the fire, it's like I was telling y'all about, just like being faithful even until the end, and or just when you know what's gonna happen. I think Jesus tells us this too in the Gospels, being faithful even until the end. This is in Revelations, that there is a crown that is in heaven that waits even if you be faithful even until the end. But they didn't bow, and they knew this was a commandment because it's in Exodus. The you're not supposed to have any other gods or idols before, God. So they stood on it, even though they already knew the consequences, because before they even went out there, he told them, if you don't bow down, this is what such and such is gonna happen. So they stood on staying faithful and not even bowing, even though they called them up again and told them, okay, this is your second chance. If you don't bow down, then we're gonna throw you into the fire. They heated it up 7 times. It's heat thing. It was overheated. So when they put them in there, some men died. So when they went into the fire, God sent his angel, which is Jesus. He'll stand in the fire. That just shows he'll stand in the fire with you. He'll stand in the fire waiting. He'll stand in the fire if you're willing to be faithful, but you got to be faithful to the end, because even in the end, even on the end of the obedience, there is a blessing. Y'all ever heard of that? Even on like the just like you waiting to go through. Apostle Paul, I heard this. Apostle Paul said, when we go through things, it builds character, but it also builds endurance. Yeah, I get what I'm saying. But yeah, there's a word tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed. I don't know when we gonna do this. I'm thinking Thursday. Thursday is 7. I'm thinking Thursday is 7. Give y'all enough time. But I'm happy we did it. I like this. Reading with everybody, and everybody who see this on the replay, I hope y'all get the word too. This was fun. This was fun. But yeah, y'all go back and watch the replay. I hope y'all enjoyed. We gonna be on here Thursday at 7. I don't know if I should. I don't know. I want to give y'all a little time. Don't go past me, but if you want to, we can go back and we can fellowship. I like this. I absolutely like this. This is only on Facebook right now. I'm not thinking about doing no TikTok, but this is where I want to be on Facebook for right now. But people that see on the replay, watch all the way to the end so you can hear my word. This is fun. When I come back, we're going to read 4, 5, and 6. So, y'all have a good night. And I'm about to